welcome back to Health by Jessica. Today we have part 2 of 3 of an interview I did with Tracey McBeath, who is also the host of the Nourished Mumlife Podcast. You can listen to this podcast on Apple iTunes or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I'll link the interview below. But in part 2 of 3, we spoke about, we'd already touched on this in the first part, but we dove deeper into why calories in does not equal calories out. So usually the first thing people think to do when they go to lose weight is to restrict their portion sizes, restrict their fat intake, and just restrict their total caloric intake. Because the idea is if you ingest less calories than you expend or burn off each day, you're going to have to tap into stored body fat and you'll lose weight. And unfortunately, it is not that simple. There is so much involved when it comes to weight loss, and every single person is different. And there is no one size fits all. So calories in equals calories out may work for some people, but it does not work for everybody. And so I invite you to dive into this conversation with us. It is a thought-provoking conversation. We are not here to say we are right and anyone else is wrong. But in clinical practice as a dietitian, I see a lot of people struggling with weight loss, and most of my clients have tried the calories in, calories out thing before. They've tried restricting their portions, they've tried counting their calories, they've tried Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, whatever it is, and it hasn't worked for them, or it worked in the past and now it no longer works. So if this resonates with you, I invite you to listen more. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This is a very new channel, so if you have any ideas or any questions for me that you'd like me to create videos on, then just comment below or send me an email or go to my website, www.ellipsehealth.com.au, and please get in touch with me. All right, enjoy the interview.
And she was a good example of the sort of case you brought up at the beginning. You know, she was an expert dieter. She knew the calories in everything.
Expert dieters. Yeah. There's so many.
Yeah, you know, and they are telling the truth. You know, this sounds terrible, but I remember when I was going through dietetics training at university, and they would tell us, you can't believe what people tell you. When they tell you that what they're eating, when they give you their diet history and they're overweight, they're probably underreporting. And there's probably things they're not being honest about. And they would literally say that to us. You know, if it looks like someone's got the perfect diet, but they're overweight, they're just underreporting. And I know doctors get the same sort of message too, particularly when it comes to diet. You know, underreporting is this huge issue. Especially if people are overweight, they're more likely to underreport. And I don't exactly know where that comes from, because they say it like it's a scientific fact. But I never take that mentality. I would never, ever, ever think that one of my clients is underreporting, because in this particular example, you know, she was eating such low calorie, and I could see it in her eyes. I could see that, you know, she was desperate. And if you were that desperate for help, you wouldn't lie about what you were doing. And that just drills into us. It's not calories in, calories out. You know, maybe if it were calories in, calories out, okay, maybe these people would be underreporting, but it's not. You know, we've got to trust our clients. If we don't trust our clients, then they're not going to come back to us. We're not going to help them. You know, obviously we do want people to be honest with us, and that requires us to build rapport and build that relationship. But I think, you know, us getting on the same page with our clients and breaking down the sort of preconceived ideas about diet, I think that's step number 1. For a lot of these women who come in and, you know, they've been in this dieting world, they've been an expert dieter, as we said, and it's almost even a shock when, you know, someone says to them, hey, maybe all that stuff you've been doing isn't the right thing for you. And that takes some getting used to. That might even take a week to process before they can then be ready to say, okay, well, what can I do then? You know, because it's terrible that these women and men, they've been trying, you know, they've been listening to the population advice. They've been trying to reduce their portions. They've been going for the low-fat milk and yogurt. They've been eating the margarine, you know, they've been swapping out their butter, getting margarine and reducing their takeaway foods. People are really compliant to the Australian dietary guidelines. They've been doing this, but not getting results and maybe even getting sicker. So, yeah, we need to break down those preconceived ideas on diet.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we can't, I mean, the trust thing in what we do is enormous. I mean, that to me is everything. I find that so, it's sad in a way that that's how it's portrayed. You know, I think in all my studies, I've never come across some examples, or it's never been talked about how to deal with this type of a client. And I actually probably didn't, to be honest, until I started working as a coach, I didn't really think they existed either, because we're so ingrained to think that it's all about calories and they're just overeating and they're doing it in secret and not telling us about it or something like that. But it's so, I can't tell you how I've seen it now. It is so common, and you've talked about it too. So yeah, I think it's definitely out there, and it's definitely not a calories in, calories out issue. And that's really what I wanted us to get across today. And I think that's fantastic how you've shared that.
To go on a little bit more, I mean, there is science about this, and there is science to disprove the calories in, calories out. But I don't think that science is really translating into guidelines, like dietary guidelines and things like that. Like, gosh, we know most of the science doesn't get through to the dietary guidelines somehow. But, you know, we do know that calorie restriction itself can lower metabolic rate and can cause your body to burn less calories. So your body will just adapt to a lower calorie intake. You know, if you eat less food, your body doesn't want to get rid of excess energy. Your body wants to store that, you know, in case you need that. So your body will just down-regulate the metabolism and it will expend less energy.
That's right.
And they've also done studies to show that, you know, if you go for an hour's jog every day, so you're trying to burn 400 calories in your hour's jog, well, for the other 23 hours of the day, your body will just down-regulate its metabolism. So you're burning less energy in those hours so that you've got your 400 calories to go on your jog. Your body doesn't realize you actually want to be in a calorie deficit. Your body is always trying to keep homeostasis. Your body wants everything to be in this nice equilibrium. And it all comes back to energy availability. If your body doesn't see the energy that's available because you've got high levels of insulin or insulin resistance or some other condition, there's no way your body is going to just happily let go of stored energy. You can do it. You can, you know, do severe calorie restriction and you can lose weight, but there's going to be a point. There's going to be a point where you can't do it anymore. You can't eat less anymore, or your body's just going to adapt. And you have to then go, well, what now? What do I do now? And then you try to return to normal eating, or you try and do the next diet, and then you just the next diet, and it's this constant battle and it's this constant struggle. So one thing I say to my clients, and the particular client we're talking about, is whatever strategy you implement now to help you lose weight, make sure it's something that you could do for the rest of your life. So if they sort of put that on themselves and what they have been doing, could you happily do calorie restriction and small portions and fasting and all this exercise? Could you do that every single day for the rest of your life? Or would you do that happily? And what would be the side effects of that? And, you know, sustainable weight loss and sustainable health comes with doing things every single day that you enjoy, that make you feel good, and that you don't feel like you ever need to give up, because, you know, that's what it's about. It's about finding that lifestyle that you want to do every day, that's, you know, sending good messages to your body and helping your body reach its healthy weight, as opposed to you and your body working against each other constantly, and then always having to find new things to trick your body and to force your body to lose more weight when it clearly doesn't want to do it the way you're trying to get it to do it. So yeah, I mean, that in itself, I think, is very powerful. You know, if you want to do a particular diet to lose weight, great. But is it something you would keep up for the rest of your life? Is that a strategy you would sustain?